All right, guys. So this is basically my version of how I might go about making a kind of track that kind of sounds something like Split by Stuca, kind of like that freeform trap, freeform bass kind of sound. Um, Obviously, I used Split as a reference, but this is just me basically showing how I go about doing it. I'm not trying to rip Stuca. This is obviously kind of like his thing. I just kind of wanted to see if I could make it. And since I got kind of close, I wanted to share it with all of y'all, show what I did, get this kind of sound. And if you find something out of it that you like, I hope you do. If not, it's totally cool. I'm going to include the project file for a free download in the description. And I'm just going to go over it here. I'm also going to play it back so that way you don't have to skip to the end to hear it. So I'm just going to play a snippet of the original and then play mine.
Inside the music and become part of it.
Motherfucking. Ooh.
So super cool track. This is kind of what I have.
It's a fucking.
All right, cool. So yeah, as you can tell, pretty close. Obviously not the same. There's definitely different. He has a slightly different flow, of course. I mean, it's his, and the sound design is different, of course. But I got pretty close. I'm not going to sit here in front and say that it's exactly like it because obviously my version is not exactly like it, but it's pretty damn close. It's close enough to where I would never personally release this as my own song because it's too damn close to the original. But personally, I learned a lot from it, and it was fun to kind of make this style because it's not the style that I normally make. So let me show you what I did here. So basically, starts off with just like some atmospheres and some impacts in the background. I think it's just one atmosphere. One right here. And then some impacts, somatics ones. Don't hate me, I know it's somatics, but for this, it just doesn't matter. And then riser, all sample stuff. Obviously, I can make my own impacts and risers and whatnot, but for this, it's just something quick. This is, I believe, my own riser I made. Yeah, that's just some detuned saw waves with some pitch automation. It's nothing too crazy. A little bit of reverb filter to make it sound more gritty. And a little bit of hyperdimension to spread it out. Distortion, make it more crunchy. A little bit of delay time and flanger. So yeah, that's pretty much it for that one. Some reverb chords, basic stuff here. And then the drums for the build-up is super simple. It's literally just the snare. Pop, 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 pop. Yeah, super simple. Nice little trap build up, and then underneath it, I have the main bass sound just kind of filtered out. As you can see, the automation slowly comes down, and then there's the little break here, and then I just used that splice sample from Franzilla from Attila.
It's a fucking.
Anybody remember Attila? And then That one sound is just stretched out. I think it was like a giraffe or some shit. Oh no, an elephant. Yeah, I took an elephant and stretched it. Let's see. Yeah, stretched it twice and then messed with the BPM to get the exact kind of like tone and length that I wanted out of the sample. And then just kind of, I think I did some octave pitch automation. Yeah, see, one was down 2 octaves, one was down 1 octave, and just kind of rotated them. And then that's pretty much it for like the vocal section. There's some chants, I believe, right down here. Yeah, just some chants on like the B section of the drop. Little Rick Ross. Oh yeah. So yeah, let's get into the bass sounds. So actually, before we get into the bass sounds, let's talk about the drums. The drums is the most basic drums you could probably ever imagine ever. I mean, literally everything is on grid. It's just going kick, snare, kick, snare. Like, so simple. You just loop these two parts right there, add in the little rides. And then let's get into the bass sound. So the one shot here is just like this Drezzo sample that I found of a bass one shot. But then I processed it a lot. So let me take off all the processing and show you the difference. Completely different. So first we just have a sidechain compressor just to duck it with the kick, obviously. Camel Crusher on Annihilate mode is just the stock preset for Camel Crusher. It just makes it real crunchy. But then to tame all that high end that you get from the distortion from Camel Crusher, I use this auto filter. But the catch is that it's coming up, so it's going, you know, creating that kind of like vocally sound. And then got erosion, adding some white noise and a little bit of sine wave distortion to add like white noisy crunch. I'll show you with it and without. Just makes it sound a little more robotic, a little bit more, yeah, just kind of like tinny. And then we got another Camel Crusher, but it's on the British Clean setting. British Clean is one of my favorite settings. It just makes everything sound kind of smooth and buttery and fat and juicy. So British Clean's the GOAT. Then we got the kind of, so we have like the one shot and then we have the call and then we have response, call, response, one shots in between. So let's just go over this first kind of call. So we kind of have that mono bass and then I have the left and right stereo on top. So those three layers make that one bass. Let's just start off with the mono kind of mid-range one. Basically, if I take off all the processing. All right, so take off the processing. I'm gonna go into Serum, and basically what we have is just like a saw wave that's just got a little bit of bend on it, making it kind of curvy with cutoff filter. That's super low, so you only get the low frequencies. And then if I turn this off, it just sounds like a sine wave, white noise. If I turn this on, it's distorting the fuck out of it. It's giving it more harmonics, making it thicker. And then I run it through a phaser that gives it that kind of underwater tone. Underwater reverby tone comes from the phaser. And that's with the depth all the way down, the rate all the way down, and the frequency kind of in the middle. And I have a macro mapped to the frequency so I can adjust it and change the tonality. And then lastly, just OTT to bring it out of the mix a little bit. And then we got some erosion with white noise and sine wave again that give it that robotic sound, thus making this. Out. Yeah. Cool. And then we have duplicate layers of that for the left and the right, which is basically just like a bunch of rumbly kind of sounds. It's just like a duplicated version of the mono one, but put all the way in the left channel and all the way in the right. but we added a little bit of vocoder to it to make it kind of gritty. And that's pretty much it for that bass. And then we have this one here. This one is one of my favorite basses. This is probably closer to the actual original, and it's all inside of Serum. So here, basically what we have going on is you have like a, looks like almost the init saw wave, but it's just got a little bit of curve on it. And then you actually have the actual triangle wave here, basically both down -3, and they're both have 7 voices of unison, and they're both a little detuned. So it's giving that super saw kind of sound, but it's a lower octave. And then you put the LFO on the level just to make it wobble, and as well as this white noise over here too to give it a little bit extra kind of fuzziness. And that's pretty much it. The distortion and the delays taken off, and it's just a little bit of OTT. And that's pretty much it for that sound. So it's basically just these 2 oscillators and the detuned, as well as a little bit of OTT. And that's pretty much the sound. Sometimes simpler is better. Then we have this guy. This one's crazy. This reminds me of Space Laces, kind of. That's why I called it Space Laces 1, 2. Basically what it is, you just have a triangle wave and a saw wave. They're being FM'd into each other. This one's volume is being, typical stuff. This one's volume's turned down. This one has the LFO on it. Got the reverb filter to make it sound super white noisy and crazy. And then we put the LFO on the cutoff to make it sound even more fucking crazy. Be careful with this, because if you do this too much, it'll sound wild. And then also same thing, LFO on the white noise to make it all wobble. A little bit of hyper dimension just to make it a little bit more stereo, and OTT to bring it all together, bring it out of the mix. And then you have this oh yeah, so these are just playing at 2 different octaves to alternate and still keep it interesting. And then this sound is just another fill sound. If I take off the OTT and the Camel Crusher, just quieter and more muted because of this filter. It's basically just saw wave with a little bit of bend and 7 voices of unison, a little bit of white noise. That's kind of the theme for this track. It's just saw waves and white noise, with sign shaper distortion, a little bit more stereo imaging with the hyper dimension, no detune, mix is turned all the way down. This trick with the delay where you turn up the feedback in the mix and you link the left and the right and have them around 15 milliseconds will make it sound kind of like metallic. And then an OTT to bring it out of the mix some more. And then this is really what makes this sound right here. If I turn off the flanger with the cutoff being automated, don't sound like anything good. Turn this on, gives it that vocally wow wow. And then Camel Crusher, which is basically just, same thing, British clean mode, which is basically just compression and saturation at the same time with another OTT. And it just pulls it right out of the mix. Yeah, there wasn't even really too much automation really, other than that phase knob on this bass that I was telling you about that's mapped to the frequency. Just has a little bit of automation curve down here at the end of the phrase. Boom, 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 boom. Something like that. All right. That's pretty much it. I mean, we just have a couple other things like this. Just like a reverse vocal. You. And then this thing right here. Oh yeah. So this, if I turn off everything, especially this auto pan, it was literally just like a cashmere sample of an animal. Oh, it was that same animal. It was the elephant thing with auto pan, and then I automated the rate with the phase all the way down. If you turn the phase all the way down on an auto pan, it basically makes it act like it's an LFO. And then I mess with the shape to make it have more of a square shape, which makes it go like makes it the sound stutter. And then the rate controls like, you know, obviously the rate of how fast it's stuttering. So it goes boom, 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 boom. Yep. Some OTT, just of course to bring it out and make it sound brighter. If you like what you watched today, please, you know, like and subscribe. This is my first video. There's gonna be more coming out like this. I make music under the name Pretty Sweet. We make like hard trap, dubstep, everything. So check us out. I'm gonna have the links to our music down there in the description. And also, if you want to download this project file, it will be in the description as well for a free download. So please click on that. Please like and subscribe. Thanks, everybody.